what is happening right now? I'm seeing Idubbbz and Noah Samsen add like Ethan receiving human skulls in the mail is just a funny meme.
Your opinion on the skulls, and did you send them?
I didn't send the skulls. I don't know. I thought the skulls thing was kind of humorous to hear that. Especially when I heard that they were like from skulls.com or something like that. That made it funny.
Just a death threat to a father, a family.
Yeah. Was it a death threat?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no.
Yes, the threat is motivated on your community slandering Ethan as a racist who loves genocide. The threat so obviously is, you don't know who we are, but we know where you and your family live. I thought Ian would be empathetic towards this, since he thought Sam Hyde was gonna kill him for no reason.
It was the craziest thing because Anissa said to me, she's like, Kate, you don't understand. Ian and I both believe that Sam Hyde would really come and find me and would actually murder me. So that's the reason why we have to take all these precautions. And I was just like, are you sure?
I'm coming to kill you!
I was like, I think the guy's a millionaire. I was like, I don't think he's gonna risk his freedom to kill you.
Meanwhile, 2 low-level staffers at the Israeli embassy were killed in the name of stopping a genocide. The same thing these guys accuse Ethan and his family of defending. But Ethan's crazy for being worried.
No, this is a hallucination. I will say it once again. If I don't think it's appropriate for someone to call CPS on Ethan Klein, why the f would I ever think it's appropriate for someone to kill Ethan Klein? Are you stupid? Of course, that is insane.
No, but you'd still praise them and hop on streams with them. Bad Empanada is encouraging people to continue to make false CPS calls to Ethan and Gila. He's acting like it's a big joke.
Hello, is this Child Protective Services? Yes, thank you. I'd like to report a case of endemic dog infestation, and it also contains 2 Zionists, and as we all know, Zionists are baby killers, so I think this is a very dangerous situation for the children, given the dog and the Zionists keep those kids safe.
This might be funny if it wasn't actually happening. This guy is also a serial doxer. He's doxing people on Twitter right now as we speak. It's so wild to me that we have this group of people that have devolved into this mentality where lying is completely okay. Hasan's biggest fan account is spreading the lie that Asman killed his mom. Just makes it up. Even Frogan, the least relevant Hasan groupie, is completely lying about her past statements, saying veterans deserved PTSD.
I'm a live streamer as well. I know being live for hours and hours on end, you can misspeak, and that is exactly what happened whenever I said the thing about the U.S. military.
Bro, you didn't misspeak. You were serious.
I will never have any pity for any soldiers. U.S. military? Boo fucking who? I hope you get PTSD. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into fucking America.
She lives in Michigan, by the way. And then you double down the next day laughing at what you said.
And they posted it in my head. I'm like, base? Base?
These people are such cry bullies. If you aren't 100% with them, you're against them. A Twitter account posts that Hasan was banned for a day. Well, Hasan frames them as an agent of Israel. Hasan replies, every blue check power farmer is an Israeli dick rider on this website. This guy didn't say anything. All he did was report your ban. And you have a blue check mark. Frogan sees Asman speak mildly about political content on Twitch. In Frogan's eyes, he's discriminating against her.
If I wanted to optimize ad revenue, you know what I would do? I'd ban politics. The odds are that me and Hasan and Tectone and Frogan and Denims and Central Committee cause 90% of the PR problems on the entire website.
Honestly, facts. Rogan tweets, you consider me political because I wear a hijab. I am not like you and don't make political content anywhere, but typing a tweet once in a while. What reality is she living in? No one mentioned your hijab. And now we have the newest rising star in Hasan's orbit, Idubbbz, who's consistently used Creator Clash as a way to shield criticism because it's a charity event.
It's disappointing and it makes me sick to see him, like, you know, using the event as a way to, like, attack me back or whatever.
The new management of Creator Clash 3 revealed that Ian and Anissa were taking 34% of the profit from this event. Was Ian really concerned about his charity possibly failing, or did he only care about his bottom line?
Don't worry, Hila. I'm not gonna blame you guys for anything Creator Clash related. I know you're terrified of taking accountability for anything, so that will rest solely on my shoulders. But I can't speak for the internet. The internet might actually blame you guys for it.
He thought he was cooking with this. Since then, Freddie Wong seemingly dropped out of the event after seeing Ian drag Creator Clash through this drama. Both the fighters from the main event dropped out of Creator Clash 3, blaming Ian for it. The event went from an arena that hosted 20,000 people to one that has a capacity of 4,000. Irreputable harm has been done to this charity event. Everyone rightfully blames Ian and Anissa, but the funniest part is it's barely a charity event at all. Ian responded on Reddit, we restructured so the funds for our charity partner would be raised on Tiltify, separate and apart from the actual event. The Tiltify is essentially when you go to Walmart checkout and ask you to round round up $1 for charity. That's the extent of the charity aspect. People joke that this event would be a disaster like TanaCon.
He's saying the event is going to be worse than TanaCon?
But TanaCon's problem was that too many people showed up. For this one, there might be too many folding chairs. Yes, this is the actual venue. To hear him cry about, oh, this charity event's getting ruined when no pay-per-view sales, ticket sales, or profits from concessions is going to charity is a whole nother level of dishonesty.
What was the charity for? Like cancer research, or I don't even remember.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like
Stand Up to Cancer.
Cancer is bad, comes below, I don't like this guy. And I'm going to talk about not liking this guy before I talk about cancer is bad. Because I don't really care about either, but I'm more likely to make videos out of that guy. And whoever gets in the way of that, even if it's kids with cancer, fuck them.
Noah, do you not know cancer is bad? Are you unaware? Oh, sorry guys, can't criticize Ian. There's this crazy disease nobody's heard of called cancer. This has been a disastrous event. It's worthy of criticism.
The way I see it is I think the common defense from the other side would be something along the lines of like, don't use charity as a shield. But I think they completely missed the point that it's like, it's not a shield. It's just like, hurt me as much as you want. You know, it's basically saying like, you do not have a case. You are not winning. You are not hurting me. So you're trying to find other ways to hurt me. You are like, you're kind of by attacking this other thing, by triangulating this other thing, you are proving that nothing's working, you know?
Yeah.
And
oh man.
Yeah, oh man, that was completely retarded. Your own fighters are dropping out of the event. You think it's all malicious? They just want to hurt you? All of this genuine criticism is just a lie to you. Here's Wade, one of the commentators, talking about how misled he was.
You're telling people it's a charity event. Stop telling people that, because it's not what it is. That was the whole issue with the lack of communication behind number 1 and 2. That it's a charity event, charity event, charity event. It's not a charity event. It's a boxing event that you are perpendicularly associating with a separate charity that has nothing to do with people buying the boxing event. I was a part of the event and didn't know any of this. I didn't know where money is going outside of the fact that I was offered and said no.
Jay LeRae, one of the fighters, didn't understand that this wasn't a charity event.
Those of you that don't know, I'm going to be boxing in Creator Clash 3 in Tampa, Florida this June 28th. I'm very excited. You can grab your tickets now. In-person tickets are on sale and pay-per-view tickets are on sale as well. You can go grab pay-per-view tickets now. All proceeds from this event are going to Stand Up to Cancer.
That is just not true. The proceeds are profit for the organizers. Only the Tiltify money goes to charity. What was Ian's response in his newest video? Well, it's just a miscommunication.
I have felt extremely handcuffed by Creator Clash these past years because I'm not an expert communicator and I don't know how to convey things, not over communicate, not do all these things that potentially put the event at risk and put other people at risk. And that's kind of why I wanted to step away from this event. It feels like it's inhibiting my ability, like the business side of things, like inhibits my ability to communicate openly and effectively, especially when there's so many people counting on me to do that well.
You don't have to be an expert communicator to let people know that this is a for-profit event. The new people that took over made it clear in just a few lines on the transparency page of the Creator Clash website. When things evolve, each new iteration is supposed to get better, like phones or tools, not Creator Clash. The 4th one's gonna be held in Ian's backyard. But the best example of evolution might be Exter Wallet. Exter is innovating the wallet game with a slim, slick design, a button that makes all your cards easily accessible, and a finder card so you never lose your wallet again. I think we all have a friend or dad with a wallet that looks like this, big, bulky, ugly. If you sit on it, it gives you back pain. And as big as it is, I still lose it. And with Father's Day coming up, we don't have to live this way any longer. Now I just pull out the Find My Phone app where I can see the exact location. If you move too far away from it, it gives you a notification so you never leave it behind. And if you get too far from it, you can even ring it. It's slim, convenient, and water resistant. So whether it's for yourself or a Father's Day gift, Esker is the wallet upgrade that everyone will appreciate. So go to partner.esker.com/WillyMacShow and use code WillyMacShow to get 50% off your order. Thank you, Esker, for sponsoring this video.
It was revealed with the change of ownership that Anissa and I, because we're 1/3 ownership of Creator Clash the business, that we were getting 34% of the profit share. We weren't anticipating this event doing well. Like, we wanted to do well enough to pay back the investors, of course. So that's one of the reasons that we were, okay with the profit share thing.
So you guys were expecting it to fail? That's why I think it's so cowardly you guys bailed out of this event. Doesn't it seem like he made this content cop to get bad press so he could drop out? It's interesting how it took till now for moves to be made to make sure this event isn't a complete financial failure.
But another part of it as well is that the contract wasn't structured in a way that the profit share could just directly go to charity. It was told to us like you could just donate your portion of the profit share to charity after the event. So we were like, okay, fine. Now I know some people will find it hard to believe that Anissa and I were just going to give our portion of the profit share to charity. There's nothing I could really say to, I think, convince them otherwise. It was up to our discretion at the end of the day.
The reasoning is so weird. We took profit knowing that the event would fail, but if it somehow succeeded, we would donate that money anyway. You just have to trust us on that. Why not just have that in the contract? Instead of it going to you and Anissa, it goes to charity. Can it not be written in? Am I missing something? Brother, you and your wife aren't exactly known as honest people.
I'm very happy that, this year money is being raised for charity, and I'm glad to know that it's already more successful than year 2. Mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned.
That money wasn't raised by you. It was raised by Hasan reacting to Ethan's content nuke. If you don't host your event at all, that money still goes to charity. You've done nothing.
Go figure. The white guy 8 years later is like, I think Anita Sarkeesian was kind of onto something. There's a lot of assholes on the internet, and they're kind of misogynistic too, I think. It's crazy what a little CTE or the love of a woman will do to you.
Whenever you're around Anissa, you look like an abused dog.
I just want to ask him if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had like IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Oh,
gonna
he's
spend.
at a cafe. Gordon, has he always had IBS? Ian's just looking like a shriveled. You look like the grandma from SpongeBob. The chocolate grandma. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what's happened to Ian. He has zero confidence. He doesn't even know how to speak for himself anymore. His boxing coach is telling stories on how Anissa tells Ian when he's hungry.
One time we ended sparring, and afterwards everybody's hanging out, and she walks up to Ian and she goes, "You're hungry."
Yes.
And then so they had to leave because Ian was hungry.
Do you feel like I speak too much for you? Like in this
I don't think so. You know me better than I think it's a weird.
Seconds right hand, Alex Wasabi.
Well, I shouldn't say it's weird. The reason Anissa does it is because typically, whatever the topic is, she's filling in the blank. Because I don't say it for myself. I think a lot of the times, my head's in a different space.
You're not kind to yourself. You've never been kind to yourself, and you'll never share. Like, if you're in a room with a bunch of people and people are talking about like what they accomplish or what they've done, you'll never ever speak up about that.
Does she change your diapers too? Now, I don't know how much weight to put into what this guy's saying. Maybe he's just angry and trying to get back at them for some reason. But now there's another story about Ian getting cucked, no meme.
I've heard is that she was hitting on one of his sparring partners and was obsessed with him and gave him a VIP pass to the event.
A lot of his sparring partners got the passes, but she definitely had a big crush on one of the guys that would come in and spar with them, because anytime they would spar, she would just be super into it and watch every moment. And then even if he would like beat Ian up, she'd be very into it. And then
I want to say that I want to say that before. So Anissa never gave shoutouts to Michael training Ian at all, but she put out the first video of Ian like getting rocked in sparring when Ian was sparring with her crush.
Yeah. Anissa allegedly flew out over 300 creators to the event with no requirement to promote it.
He's like, our brand is at stake. We're $500,000 in the hole right now.
I wish I knew that. I wish I knew that at that time. I think a lot of the fighters would have liked to have known that. I don't think none of them needed to be in the dark about that,
Their pay-per-view sales were behind and they were still spending money.
But they weren't honest about the fact that they were spending the money from the ticket sales on the hotel, on flying people in, on all these other things. So it was just like,
so those decisions, the gala decisions, were made while in the red.
Yes.
I have a question about that.
First of all, they rented the hotel for over 300 creators. and flew a lot of them in. When the first year it was much more scaled back.
Ian can't edit a video anymore, so he flies out Twitter editors.
And then the second year, they did that full hotel for 300 creators. They flew a lot of people in. One of the people they flew in was Froggy Tonic, and they flew him in from France.
That's insane.
And Froggy had told us that he was there to salvage the documentary.
Ian and Anissa haven't responded to these latest allegations, but they did defend their tattoos. Priorities.
Cool. It doesn't really matter what I do, because I'll always stay stuck as a fool. I'll never be cool.
It really is remarkable how everything Ian says is projection. Donut Operator revealed in his podcast that Ian stopped talking to him because he made an OnlyFans joke.
He went to a range day with me one time. We used to talk a lot about content creation and stuff. And COVID rolls around, I get bored at home, so I make an OnlyFans where I'm showing my meat.
Really?
And, well, basically, I'm taking a steak and I'm rating a steak. and
See, that's the reaction that you're supposed to have. Genius.
I thought it was funny. So I'd be wearing just an apron. Of course, I'm wearing boxers underneath. And I'd reach down and be like, this is my OnlyFans. And this is an A5 Wagyu from down the street. And I would talk about it. And I sent it to Ian, and he got mad and called me and said I was making fun of Anissa, and I wasn't. I just thought it was a funny bit because I was sitting at home during COVID. And
you'll never understand what it's like to be an ally.
Yeah, he said stuff like that. I haven't talked to him since. That was 5 years ago.
Over that?
Yeah, and I've texted him and tried to reconnect with him. He just won't talk to me anymore.
Ian's response is to say, conveniently leaving out that your girlfriend at the time was pursuing OnlyFans, but you were too pussy to deal with the criticism, so you made a parody account. No, I don't want to be friends with a coward. How is any of that a relevant response? Should Donut Operator have uploaded a video like you did, talking about how intelligent he is for letting his wife do OnlyFans?
But I'm cool with it. You do realize there are guys out there in private right now jacking off to your girlfriend. But I guess it's out of sight, out of mind, it's not a problem.
Yeah, Ian wants to see it.
Let me have my hope, all right? I want to believe he's too intelligent for this. Intelligence has nothing to do with it, but I will say this. If you want to retain hope that I'm intelligent, this is the most intelligent thing I've probably ever done, is revealing this side of me.
The bar's real low, huh? Bro's only real world experience was working at Legoland. This man just said it was the most intelligent thing he's ever done. Donut Operator, you're missing out. You could be Ian. The content cop has been nothing but a failure. It's done harm to everyone associated with Ian, so the new narrative is to hide behind the dead bodies of Palestinians. Act as if the content cop was about Israel-Palestine the whole time.
I even hate calling it drama, because at the end of the day, it was you kind of taking a stand of being pro-Palestine. I don't think that's drama necessarily, but the way that they have handled talking about this, people like Ethan and some people on Twitter that cover this make it about themselves so often, when that's not what any of this is about,
I'm sorry that I'm such a fucking nasty person who just wants to roll around in the shit.
There's people in Palestine dying every fucking day. I think over the weekend, just on Saturday alone, over 100 people were bombed and killed.
I can show your tattoos in all of their glory, or I can show that your tattoo made it to the top of awful taste but great execution subreddit.
What was the impulse to finally take a stand?
Yeah, well, I think Ethan made it really fucking easy for me. I think honestly the only thing that made me second guess any of it was how it affects other people.
Ethan was mad because people were calling CPS on his children, and the content cop was acting like Ethan was lashing out for no reason. But now that Ian's criticized, suddenly he's a big advocate for Palestine. The only time he talked about it is when he said Anissa's half Irish and half Lebanese, so that makes her an expert.
I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide. On the part of the Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel.
When called out for this by the entire internet, Ian acts like he's above it all.
Yeah, I'm definitely a loser to a huge swath of people online.
Yeah.
And it's I don't really care to be a winner in their eyes.
I don't care.
Oh, I gotta kind of reconcile with my past moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I relate in that way, but then I also relate in the way that it's hard. It's hard to be funny. And I can tell that bro really admires a lot of these comedians that he's had on his show. I think he wants to, be something special. I think he wants to be an entertainer. But Like, it's gonna take a lot of fucking, like, pain and hurt to actually discover who the fuck you are, because I don't think he knows who he is, to be honest. Like,
it wasn't overnight, like, me gaining my confidence back. And I'm still probably not all the way there, but...
This guy projects more than a movie theater. Yeah, Ethan should have followed your podcast format, where you hide all your new episodes on Patreon. They've figured out a way to argue that them making boring content somehow makes them a better person. I've subscribed to their Patreon, and their podcast was so mundane, I couldn't bother to slog through it. This was the highlight.
I would say there's some options that you don't think about as existing, especially when you're younger. I didn't think about how I could put an egg in my ramen.
Yeah.
I never considered that.
Yeah.
And it always felt like it was a little bit like lacking something. Like I wanted to put something like cheese in there.
Mhm.
But Fluffy put me on to putting an egg in there. I mean, he chefed it up quite a bit. He like would go through the effort of like cutting up some green onions and stuff.
Yeah.
and putting
Oh,
it in
wow.
there.
He was really chefing it up.
Yeah, I think he wanted to do more. And I think that's, to be honest, what a lot of like, I think that's such a positive avenue for people who are struggling with their weight.
How are they morally grandstanding on getting less views? They act like Ian's video saved the sex industry.
When the OnlyFans shit happened and everybody was shitting their pants about me having an OnlyFans, there were some content creators that suggested to Ian, like, the move is to make your own OnlyFans and go in there and fucking just start posting on OnlyFans and make it a big joke. And, like, that's what people want to see. That's what's going to be entertaining. And, like, yeah, we understand what the, like, politically correct,
Yes.
not politically correct,
Strategically.
the strategically correct move is. But for, in that instance, for the sex working community, that would harm them so, like, so much more than, like, it would help us.
That's the biggest frustration, is that people don't really, it's like, I'm the one who made all of these videos in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I understand
The game.
Yeah. Like, of course, like the suggestion of like
You're
making the
giving up the
OnlyFans
game.
thing a joke.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, that's so obvious
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
But the people who suggested that shit to me
Mhm.
are f***ing losers. If you're watching this, you're a f***ing loser.
Oh no, this guy thinks I'm a loser.
I'm gay.
Who would have thought that this would have been the peak of Ian's career? The biggest scope in Ian's video was him saying tons of people agree with him. They just didn't leave a comment or make a video because they're too busy.
I think all of the people who are like, know who is like literally winning the argument and who is like presenting a better case. I think a lot of those people are just silent, you know? At most, they're clicking like on a video, but they're not gonna fucking put in like the labor to like make sure their guy wins or their girl wins, you know? They're just gonna fucking kind of move on because they got a life.
He's trying so hard to convince himself he's in the right.
Know that other commentary channels, regular people, when they're trying to get a temperature check about how people feel about this, they're gonna like, you know, if the like dislike isn't giving them much of a vibe, they are gonna go to the comments and they are going to you know, use that as a template for how they should feel about it. Not in all cases, but you know, they want to have an understanding. They want to be tapped in, because I think a lot of people, that is like it's important. You know, I want to know what people are thinking about a video. But I think there's a big force of really loud people in the comments, and they scare people away. And especially if it's brigaded fast and quickly, like within the first 24 hours of it being uploaded.
Or maybe it's because your video sucks, but let's let him cook.
There's been a lot of people to put out commentary videos about Ethan, and they go bye-bye.
Like who?
Like, they're like, F this, I do not want the smoke, I do not want the heat. And even if it's like not genuine at all, it's like there are people out there in different communities that are like, I'm gonna get on this shit and I'm going to make them feel like the internet's against them and this is the fucking end of their career.
Bro, just name somebody.
Which videos are, I mean, do any come to mind specifically about?
I mean, I think the left, or the Snark, the H3 Snark has like kept track of them. There was like one smaller commentary channel. I think they may have focused on like fucking like Ethan's topics, or Ethan talking about Markiplier maybe. I'm not sure what it was specifically, but that one got nuked. There was a woman who made one. Oompaville was another one.
We got one name and it's Oompaville. Now, I like Oompaville, but he prefaced his video by saying, I don't know anything about the drama, I'm not going to look into it any farther, and he just sided with Ian on most things. He just says, I don't know the whole time.
I don't know. I really don't know the point of this video. I don't know what's going on. But it's very epic, though.
Okay.
A lot of calling out of hypocrisy, but everyone's always hypocritical. If you're speaking and you're critiquing things and you're judging people, you're always going to be hypocritical, no matter what. Like, it's not possible to not do that.
I don't know what that means.
Apparently, Denim's, I don't know if this is true, I'm not going to fact check it, but this seems like
Incredible. 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 Hey guys, I'm gonna watch the Idubbbz video, and I'm gonna pretty much take all of it as fact, whatever Idubbbz says, and then any criticism though, I'm pretty much just not gonna fact check it. It's pretty cool, man. I love it.
When people pointed out how lazy his video was, he co-posted by saying he touches too much grass. Dude, you only had to watch like 20 minutes of the H3 podcast to get his side of things. Is that too much work for you?
Find this post interesting. Remove today's video. Why? Because I felt like it. I'm gonna start doing that more. I'm married. I can do whatever I want. Okay. Also, a lot of people expected a lot of research and taking it very seriously, and I can't do that while maintaining a positive mental state and touching grass and remaining employed, so I'm sorry.
He made a video that sucked and was called out for missing basic things like CPS getting called, but that's the only way you could think this content cop was good, is if you're missing context. Ian's newest video is on how he doesn't like concern trolling.
Ultimately, concern trolling is just saying something in bad faith. It's very similar to tone policing or sea lioning.
Which is so ironic because all he did his entire video was concern troll Ethan and crazy make him. Now Ethan famously has Tourette's, so what's the most empathetic couple on YouTube tweet out now that he's become their enemy? Drugs? Okay, it's time for loved ones to step up for real. Parents, partner, someone. I'm saying this so genuinely. It's okay to ask for help. Please get help. I criticized Idubbbz earlier in my video for chiming in without looking into anything. But that's the entire strategy Idubbbz, Hasan, and Denim's entirely operate with. You lie, and then you lie to get out of the lie while continuing to lie. And then you convince everyone who doesn't know what's going on that your critics are pro-genocide and are just crazy. The streamer watched an out-of-context TikTok thinking Denim's getting called a waiting room was because she wasn't pregnant.
But just some of the stuff that he says about women, too. I genuinely don't know how anybody even wants to work for him at this point. It's, like, actually insane. He's like, what did he say? I saw some clip of him saying something about a woman, waiting room. He called her a waiting room. Because she hasn't had kids yet, huh?
Denim's gets called a waiting room because people wait in her stream until Hasan starts. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. But Ethan's sexist now to everyone who watched these TikToks. Even Meat Canyon, who's just trying to be down the middle, is helping Hasan because this is not a down the middle drama.
I don't think that either side's really that fucking, that fucking great, if I'm being honest. I feel like there's a lot of oopsie daisies, right? You know what I mean? I don't know. The problem is he has no... He cannot. He can never say that he's wrong about anything. That is the biggest. That's the biggest problem with all of these people. Nobody can just be like, I don't know. It is fucked up. This is fucked up. I shouldn't be overreacting to this.
I agree that this is a problem online, but it doesn't apply to Ethan in this drama. He's the only one that has corrected information when he's wrong.
Let me respond. I agree with you. I think that my characterization of it as a utopia, like in that moment, was distasteful, and I wish that I had said that differently. And I see that it came off bad. It came off bad, and I was wrong on that one. I totally agree. Watching that clip back, I'm regretful about how I spoke about it. And I think I did say that, and I think that was wrong. I was incorrect on
you
that.
said that numerous times. You actually said you ChatGPT'd against AB when AB was like, I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, by the way, I that's something I looked into, and I was actually wrong about that for sure.
But Hasan and these other people will lie and then continue to double down on it. Some of these lies go back over 3 years. I've documented this forever. But one that I think is particularly relevant is that Ethan is this ultra-Zionist genocide defender. Sometimes it's because he doesn't cite an exact figure.
You compare the raw numbers, Gazans have lost a lot more than Israelis. 40,000 people have died, and neighborhoods have been completely flattened during this war.
The figure he cites is wrong. It's just wrong. Credible estimates have placed the full scale of the slaughter in Gaza at over 65,000 deaths due to traumatic injury alone.
But when Ethan's video came out, this was a common estimate given by outlets. Another time, Hasan disagreed with one of the 2 organizations that Ethan donated money to.
His organization that Ethan donated to and urged his fans to donate to is not a fucking charity. They gave money directly to the Atlantic Council under the false notion that they were giving money to a Palestinian charity.
But if you watch the original broadcast, this guy is completely transparent.
I work at the Atlantic Council, where I am a resident senior fellow, but also I run Realign for Palestine through the Atlantic Council, and I have a we have like our own standalone website, realignforpalestine.org. There is a donate button, and so like you're certainly folks can donate there, but also I would encourage folks to consider the World Food Program has a Gaza Appeals page that is dedicated just for, here, I'm going to give you the page, that is dedicated for sending food just for Gaza.
Hasan even advocates for the same charity they promoted.
Yeah, the World Food Program is one of the actual humanitarian foundations that they link.
So Hasan mischaracterizes this entire situation and then crashes out, partially because Gila describes people living in Gaza as Gazans.
It's really crazy how Hasan like just doesn't want us to help Gazans.
Oh my god. Oh, they're so gross, dude. They're such disgusting genocidal propagandists. Oh my god. Oh, it's crazy how Hasan doesn't want us to help the Palestinians. Wait, did she even say Palestinians? Hold on, maybe she did.
It's really crazy how Hasan like just doesn't want us to help Gazans.
Oh, she didn't even say Palestinians. She said Gazans. Yeah. Here, another great way to figure out Ahmed Al-Khatib being a bad faith actor is that he calls himself a Gazan American. He doesn't even call himself a Palestinian American.
Why is he making it a big deal? The coverage he watches does it every day.
The Gazans.
Thousands of starved Gazans.
The future of Gazans.
Gazan children. They're pressuring the Gazans.
Displaced Gazans.
Hasan has tweeted it several times. Hasan himself has described Palestinians living in Gaza as Gazans.
There are definitely a lot of Israelis that do want the Israeli civilians to die, and certainly the Gazan civilians to die as well. The Gazans did not have access to... Oh, she didn't even say Palestinians. She said Gazans. Oh, they're so gross, dude.
But the biggest sin Ethan committed was not liking a slogan.
You were talking about from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And
so like at worst, the worst interpretation of that would be like someone like Hamas or Hezbollah or like terrorist organizations who are like, yeah, we want to actually kill everybody there. That's the worst interpretation of it. I know that there's a lot of people, obviously, vast majority of people who do say that don't want to kill all the Jews there, right?
They're such disgusting genocidal propagandists. Oh my god.
Does he really deserve that label? I'm sure there's plenty of things to criticize Ethan for, but these people are labeling him as something that he's not. He agrees with them on all the biggest points.
And the government of Israel is a colossal failure. Netanyahu's a war criminal, a fucking psycho. Into the genocide happening by settler fucking lunatics, and they're hellbent on genocide, frankly, overtly. They've committed tons of war crimes in Gaza, including the killing of children, obviously, because Gaza is one of the most densely populated places in the world. I'm pulled myself all the way to, outright saying that it's apartheid, that it's genocide, that the Israeli government is committing. What's happening in Gaza is a terrible humanitarian crisis that we should all care about. If you're pro-genocide, then we're definitely going to have a disagreement.
Bro, all of these comments on every video call him a genocide supporter because he doesn't like every single thing these guys say and do.
I don't know what's going on. But ever since October 7th, it's like I'm nothing more or less than a Zionist genocide supporter. Nothing.
Genocidal propagandists. Oh my god.
At what point are they just slandering him? And the most cowardly part is they hide behind the dead bodies of Palestinians to avoid any accountability on this.
Also wild because the political content creator in question is an anti-genocide content creator, and the arguments they're attacking him for are anti-genocide arguments. So these creators, they're positioning themselves in opposition to him and his arguments, de facto positioning themselves on the pro-genocide side. Anti-genocide is pro-genocide. It's quite the precarious predicament they've placed themselves in.
He's twisting himself into a pretzel trying to explain it. You can't criticize Hasan, otherwise you're pro-genocide. It's so stupid. I watched Noah Samsen's most recent video about Ethan Klein and Mudahar suing him for defamation, and I was blown away when I heard his explanation for why Mudahar is pro-genocide. It's because he criticized Hasan for his Houthi interview. One of the worst interviews in all of YouTube. I have an entire video on it. Go watch it.
Does he know what One Piece is?
One Piece, is that an organization?
No, One Piece is an anime.
Is it
Lofi?
Yeah, he said he's been watching it since he was a kid.
No way!
Yeah.
That's sick. Yes.
I think he hasn't spent much time with Chinese people, but one of the captain was Chinese, and he did qat with them, and he danced some music with them, and he was vibing. So he likes him, yeah.
So what? That's so crazy. So they're just fucking chilling with the captains? I don't understand.
To be clear, we're talking about a man they took hostage.
America's America's blowing them up while they're just doing cat and fucking chilling with the captains. How does he feel about that? Isn't that crazy. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
They essentially claim, we couldn't have possibly supported a genocide because elsewhere we have said that we don't. We said that genocide is bad, so we are exempt from any criticism for any other things we may have said that do actually support a genocide. For this point, one of the quotes that they cite is Mutahar saying, "I'm not afraid to say that genocide is wrong." Wow, how brave of you, Mutahar.
He feels like he has to say that because you keep saying otherwise.
Aside from that being just false, Mutahar stayed silent on Gaza throughout the entirety of the genocide until it was time to join his friends on a Hasan bad smear campaign. If that's not fear, I don't know what you'd call it other than, I guess, cowardice.
That's it? Muta didn't make a video on the conflict? Pro-genocide. Muta criticized Hasan? Pro-genocide. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Muta was a Canadian YouTuber. Didn't realize he was the Prime Minister of Israel. This is the propaganda machine at work. Lie about people who criticize you. When you get called out, crazy make them. Support people who dox or falsely called CPS on them. Then when they respond to that, concern troll. Hide behind the dead bodies of children. Act above it all, even though they instigated it. That way everyone who's not paying attention will think you're the rational one. It's really dangerous to conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, but it's completely acceptable to conflate criticizing Hasan with being pro-genocide. I'll probably get blamed for killing an entire school bus worth of children for uploading this YouTube video.
What you're doing with your platform is entirely negative against pro-Palestinian voices. Yeah, of course people are going to think you're fucking anti-Palestine. And I personally think that too. I do think that. The fact that while Israel is doing a genocide, a lot of these people have shifted their priority directly to drama slop and to attack people who call out Israel's genocide. We'll never fucking forget these monstrous pieces of shit for looking at a situation like the one happening, the one unfolding in Gaza, and choosing to never say anything about it, only to then make these fucking drama videos to call out the people who call out the Israeli government. If that's what you choose to do after 12 months, 13 months, 14 months of genocide, then you are less than nothing to me. Tens of thousands of children fucking destroyed. Okay? I read accounts from a parent that felt fire for the first time, woke up, okay? Immediately grabbed her son, started running out of the house, and in the process didn't realize that her son felt a little bit lighter. He turned back around and saw that it wasn't her son that she was holding, it was simply her son's arm. Okay? That is the daily reality for Palestinians.
He's using a dead kid to shield valid criticism. It's so gross.
He just uses being pro-Palestine as a way to try to dance on this fucking tightrope where he gets to say whatever the fuck he wants.
That's you. These people want diplomatic immunity. Can't criticize Hasan because he is critical of Israel. Can't criticize Ian because he runs a for-profit charity.
Ian is the only person who gets a pass for torpedoing his own admission, torpedoing a charity event. Why are we giving Ethan a pass for saying he wants the charity event to fail, effectively getting the charity event to fail and to postpone, and for the original creators to divest from?
Nothing is ever these people's fault. Hasan can't get stopped at an airport without blaming his critics.
These fucking dumbass slop tubers are actually playing with fucking fire. And I even thought about not even mentioning this, because I was like, I don't want to give him any sort of like power over the situation. But like, the reality of the matter is 100% the Trump administration is inadvertently working with a lot of these fucking dipshits. These dipshits are playing a formative role in getting people in trouble with the law.
This guy lies so much in this video. It's comical. These people are such spurgs. Ryan Beard announces that he's criticizing Ethan in an upcoming video, and Hasan tries to gatekeep it. If you're a YouTube content creator who hasn't said dick about Israel-Palestine, and you're only now starting to let your critical positions on Israel be known, after 19 months of genocide, since it's no longer going to cause you severe career penalties, and you've spent a moment finger-wagging at people who have been correct the entire time, I will absolutely come after you. So you just argue with people that agree with you, argues with Ethan, argues with Ryan. I will absolutely come after you. You aren't gonna do shit. Oh no, Hasan's gonna react to Bad Empanada watching somebody else's video, and then get up and leave halfway through. I have a lot more to say about Hasan, but that'll be part of a much bigger video. So subscribe to the channel and buy your dad a wallet. Shout out to the homies over on Patreon: Crimson Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, Drain Kobex, Necro Valley, The Confusing Opinion, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, Sennial Music, Lucasif, ET Automatic, Snoopy Poop Doop 2, Amur MLB, Rooney Boo, Drew is Sharon, Clown Factory, Monkey D. Luffy, Shura, Mustard Shirt Guy, Tiffany Sullivan, and the mega homies, Hellison, IGP, Your Taxi, Cyber Katie, Lore Reloaded, Papa Gut, Caden Lulin, BA Subway, Hawk and Load, Kitty Cat, Terox, Feander, John Manfreda, Trick, Lucas, and Katie Hawk.